Good evening, everybody. It's Greg Brasso here. Well, here we are in Marshfield with another episode here on Veterans Voice Radio. But before we get too involved, I just want to here in studio we have Brian LaFosse. Thanks for coming in tonight, Brian.
No, thanks for having me. This is great.
We appreciate it. Welcome to the crew here. Your first time in, but the subject that we're going to be covering tonight tonight's show, everybody, is going to be on entrepreneurs and veterans starting and owning their own businesses. And to help us tonight, we've got Brian, who's in from the Veteran Business Outreach Centers. But calling in on the line, we have a long-term friend and an old buddy of mine, Ray Milano. Ray, are you out there?
I'm here, Greg. Hey, team. It's great to hear your voices.
Ray, thanks for calling in. You're familiar with everybody that's here?
I am. It's great to hear everybody's voice, and I'm glad the things are still going on. I know you guys have been serving veterans up there and doing Veterans Voice for a long time, so it's great to see it still rolling along.
Well, and we're happy to have you back on the air here with us, Ray. Ray, introduce yourself a little bit, if you could, while we have you on the phone.
Ray Milano, obviously. I'm down in D.C. with the U.S. Small Business Administration. I currently am the director of the Veteran Business Outreach Center program. So the VBOC program, as we call it, we have 20 locations across the country, and their mission is to empower veteran entrepreneurship. So, there's several programs out there, the Boots to Business program, the Boots to Business Reboot program, where we work with transitioning veterans, military spouses, veterans of all eras, National Guard and Reserve members, to help them start and grow a business. So whether they have an idea, they just want to explore its feasibility and see if it would work, and they want to bounce the idea off somebody, we can help them with that. Whether they want to grow an existing business, we're there, or whether they're at the end of the life of the business and they're looking to get out and they want to sell the business or transfer it to another veteran, possibly. We're there for that. So it's great to have Brian on the show. He's our VBOC in Rhode Island, VBOC of New England. So thanks for having us on.
What type of a special person are you dealing with, Ray, that now is coming out of the military that thinks they want to own their own business?
Anything from, a transitioning service member or spouse that have been in the military 4 years, and they get out and now they're ready to, start their life, and entrepreneurship is what they're looking for, and they want to take the skills they've had prior to the military service but were enhanced during the military service, and they want to work for themselves. So they're looking to grab those skills and think about whether it's consulting, whether it's auto repair, whether it's owning a restaurant, whether it's a yogurt shop, you name it. It's across the board.
And Brian, I'll throw this out to you that there's some unique characteristics you really need to be a successful entrepreneur, wouldn't you say?
Well, I think one of the interesting things that you see with this population is, everyone says that, well, veterans are a deserving population, and they are. So we put service in there because they signed that dotted line, and so we're there to help them kind of move beyond that and into a career in entrepreneurship. But on the flip side of that, the reality is that if you look at how the statistics lay out, like 6% of Americans are entrepreneurs. Like close to the 14% of veterans are entrepreneurs. Right. So it's much higher because there's an innate skill set that gets taught, as we here in the room know, and those out there who've done that.
And how do you work with the VBOCs, Ray? What exactly do you do in conjunction with them on a day-to-day basis?
The main focus is transitioning service members and military spouses, and they conduct trainings on installations in association with the Transition Assistance Program. So we work with DOD, Department of Labor, VA, et cetera. And another thing that the VBOCs are, they're the navigators, right? They're the trust agents for these veterans and military spouses, meaning VBOCs aren't, they're going to provide some training and support, but the big bonus that the VBOCs provide is connections to all the other resources in their local community. So whether it's the Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, the Women Business Centers, whether it's the local SBA district offices, the state veteran service officer, there's the local city or town BSO. Those VBOCs are that navigator for entrepreneurship and business ownership. They know lenders. They know government contracting. So while VBOCs might not provide that direct service all the time, they can connect you and make that happen.
Ray, and how important is funding to these veteran startups?
Without a doubt. Well, it's a big issue for everybody looking to start their business. And, cash is king. So you want to make sure you have enough capital to get that business off the ground, but also keep it running for that first 6 months, 8 months, a year, until you start creating revenue and making that happen. So we set those expectations. So that's where Brian and his team and our other resource partners will sit down and say, great idea. Let's walk you through this. Let's look at the financial projections. Let's look at how you're going to make money. What's coming in, what's going out, and how much realistically are you going to need to start this business, and what are your options to get it? Maybe it's families, friends, fools, like everybody talks about. Maybe it's debt financing from a lender. Maybe it's a microloan. Maybe it's investment. But we walk people through all those options so they can make the best decision they can. So our job is to give them the information to make an informed decision.
Ray, do you see crowdfunding as an option today?
Without a doubt. So we see it a lot. Crowdfunding's opened up to investors now too. So it's even expanded. So crowdfunding is definitely an opportunity to get some funding. Once you go through the crowdfunding steps, you realize it's more of a proof of concept marketing tool, right? So it's a good way to get some funding, but also get your product out in the market, get some people to test it, get some people to talk about it, word of mouth, et cetera. So it's a good way to do that. A big option now is online lenders. Right? You see a lot of online lenders these days, and maybe that's a great option. There's specific online lenders targeted toward veterans, and these are investment groups. So, knowing all your options is the most important thing, so you make the right decision as you start out.
And Brian, that's where you come in, really, for the personal counseling as well, so you tag team up with the SBA and make sure that the veteran is aware of what they're stepping into.
Yeah, exactly. The Boots to Business program has been around for a while, and that program is kind of the core of what SBA and VBOC is doing for service members, and the reboot that Ray talked about as well. And that's a 2-day event that we host, and the reboots are sometimes 1 day in there, and to transition service members into that entrepreneurial community. But one of the things that the added VBOC presence now gives us, it gives us the ability to, once they finish that Boots to Business programming, now we're there for those next steps, right? So we're not losing them. We're holding on to the veterans, and we're keeping them, and we're kind of walking them the rest of the way through.
You're not just letting them go off into the woods of entrepreneurship. You're there holding their hand, so to speak.
Yeah. And like you said, and Ray said it really well, what we pride ourselves on is being there to kind of navigate that person through the system the whole way through. And we do provide programming, right? But a lot of the work we're doing is, if we're taking someone at the very beginning and we're pushing them through a process, we may use some of the other resource partners, and we do all the time. We'll use SCORE or the SBDC or the Women Business Centers.
Or Vetrn.
Or exactly, or the nonprofit Vetrn we're going to learn about today, who's become a great partner of myself here up in New England.
This is Charlie Duquette reporting for Veterans Voice Radio. We have on the line with us today one of our longtime partners who I think a lot of you will know, but I'm just going to have him take it off from here. And go ahead.
Hi, this is Lee Goldberg. I am the president of Vetrn, which is an acronym for Veteran Entrepreneurial Training and Resource Network. We are a nonprofit that trains veterans free of charge, veterans and family members free of charge, in taking their existing small businesses and scaling them over a 3-year growth period. We just completed our second cohort at Dean College in Franklin, Mass. A few months ago with 12 veteran small business owners. Was very, very successful, and really proud of the fact that we have endorsements from our entire class about the success of the program, and we're looking forward to scaling this and our next program, which hopefully we partner this program with Interrise. Interrise has a contract with the Small Business Administration to teach this program nationally for the SBA. Vetrn has a contract with Interrise, our partner, to train veterans. We exclusively under the Streetwise MBA program with Interrise. The way this program works is that we also partner with an organization called the Turnaround Management Association. Turnaround Management Association is a professional organization. It's an international organization, actually, but they have offices all over the United States. I am a founder and past president of that organization, and it's an organization of professionals, attorneys, accountants, bankers, asset-based lenders, professionals in the insolvency world. And TMA has partnered with Vetrn where every veteran who attends the Veteran Streetwise MBA program has a mentor from day one, and those mentors basically come from the Turnaround Management Association. So we're very, very fortunate to have a long relationship with TMA, with Enterprise, and Ray Milano, who is now the head of the Veterans Business Outreach Center program in Washington, D.C., actually helped us start our veteran program about 3 years ago, and has been very, very instrumental with us in helping us build our program. So I'm very thankful to Ray for doing that. And now we're starting to work with the Center for Women in Enterprise and Brian Lafauci in the possibility of taking the veteran program and using that as a basis for extending the course programs that CWE provides to its veterans, and then having them attend the Veteran Streetwise MBA program to help them scale their businesses. Ray has also contacted me about putting together and submitting to the SBA a pilot program, which she would take nationally, to take the Streetwise MBA program that the veteran teaches, along with Enterprise and along with the Turnaround Management Association, using our mentorship and using our resources around the country, and has asked us to submit a program. It's in the conceptual stages now, but hopefully by the end of February, we'll submit a proposal to the SBA looking to run a pilot program nationally for additional VBOCs who would run the SBA/veteran program for VBOCs around the country.
Well, that's very exciting stuff, Lee. And what I like to tell the listeners is we're having our 3-year anniversary, 3 years we've been on the air. And we would like to be able to announce something of the status of that, so stay tuned. I appreciate your service. Is there anything else you would, besides, just a reminder, as you said, this is open to veteran business owners and their families, and now hopefully to other entrepreneurs. But is there anything else you'd like to, any parting shots you'd like to tell the veterans out there about the up-and-coming program and how they can reach you?
Thank you very much, Charlie. So, as I said, please go to our website, vetrn.org. Take a look at the website, take a look at the program. It'll explain the program in detail. There are testimonials on the website from past graduates of our program. It's a great program. It's very exciting. And we're looking to fill our class, which will start at the end of March. I'm still looking. We have about 5 or 6 people who have signed up. I'd like to have a class of 12. So I'm looking for additional applicants. You can go onto the website, and there's a page there where you can fill in a very short application, which will come to me. And then I'll get back to you as soon as possible and meet with you. But I'm looking to fill out the program, and I'm looking for existing veterans, small business owners, and family members interested in applying to the program.
Well, thank you for talking with us. And now back to the studio in Greg Brasso.
But that's the whole concept that I'm really pushing hard to have up here, where we find out what's a viable resource out.
You talk about the Turnaround Management Association, and those are mentors. They're people that Lee has brought on through his relationships to mentor veterans across the country. And you talk about bail teams, so it's your banker, your accountant, your insurance person, and your lawyer, right? Your bail team, people there to help you figure things out when you're in a jam, or to kind of guide you and lead the way so you don't run into something that's going to trip you up.
And Ray, if we could close, what type of information, contact information, would you like to send out to the listeners?
Yep, without a doubt. So everybody should know SBA, that's Sierra Bravo Alpha .gov, Golf Oscar Victor /OVBD. That's Oscar Bravo Victor Delta.
Okay.
So SBA.gov /OVBD, Office of Veteran Business Development. It has all our resources, a list of all the VBOCs. And, definitely, your local VBOC is Brian. So having his information, be able to plug into him. He's plugged into the whole SBA network in Massachusetts. I know you guys know Bob Nelson and Areste and the whole team well. Plus all the others in New England. And, Brian covers all of New England and is plugged in directly to the SBA network.
Ray, thanks so much. We're getting near the end of the show, and I want to thank you for being my friend and being out there, and thank you for helping all the New England veterans. You're doing a great job, and thanks for all your support.
Well, just let me say thanks to you, Greg, and Charlie, and Chuck, and Brian, thanks to you. You guys create a great forum up there on Veterans Voice for all these resources to collaborate and get the word out. I know it's not easy, but we appreciate it.
So it's online. You can find us at www.cweonline.org, and that's where you can find my contact information. 401-427-6536 as well.